Part 2. Azure Moon. Blue Sea Moon. The Impregnable Fortress. When Claude steps down as its leader, the Leicester Alliance disbands, and its lords swear fealty to the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. The chaos in the kingdom begins to dissipate as the people unite under Dimitri's rule. Riding this momentum, the Kingdom Army prepares to march south for a decisive battle against Imperial forces.
We will finally have our decisive battle with the Empire this month.
The Eastern Lords are in the process of consolidating all of the troops within the entire kingdom. In addition, ever since Aryan Road's liberation, the Western Lords have been declaring their fealty, one after another.
Affairs within the kingdom have calmed down considerably, and we even managed to win over the Alliance.
Although it was a rough go at first, I'm starting to feel like we could actually win this.
That's true. Thinking back on it now, we've really come a long way.
We even have a lead as to where Rhea is located. It is as we predicted all along. If we are to rescue Rhea, then we must defeat the Emperor. If we're going to march from the Monastery to Enbarr, then we'll have to cross the Great Bridge of Myrddin again, right?
Yes, I believe so. As we have gained the Alliance's support, we should not have any trouble this time. After the bridge, we can cross Gronder Field and head south. And then we'll take Merceus, the so-called Impregnable Fortress that towers on the other side.
An Impregnable Fortress?
Fort Merceus, I know of it. They say it rivals even Aryan Road.
Count Burgleys, the Empire's Minister of Military Affairs, once had troops stationed there. But according to our spies, a large-scale military force has entered the stronghold. Perhaps they are gathering soldiers from various regions to compensate for their losses.
Should we try to avoid it?
If we try to avoid it, those troops will follow us and attack from the rear. It is best for us to handle the situation head-on. Once we take Fort Merceus, Enbarr will be within reach. This is the Empire's last chance to stop us from arriving at our goal.
In other words, if we take this fort, then our blades will be at the Emperor's throat in no time.
If this is the last fort between us and them, then the Emperor will likely do everything she can to strengthen its defenses.
I just received a report on that very subject. The one commanding the troops stationed at Fort Merceus is someone we have crossed blades with many times. It is the Death Knight who awaits us there.
Oh, so that's who we'll be battling. Emil.
Let's get this over with.
Even in the kingdom, only a few people knew about His Highness and Edelgard's relationship. Me? I always knew those two to be like brother and sister. To think that we would come to see this world, where they are at war with one another. I live it, and can still barely imagine such a truth. I have a request.
Yeah.
Even in the kingdom, only a few...
So I don't have the resources. Chickpeas and onions. I need another thing of chickpeas. I meant the greenhouse. So this is all the stuff that we got. Premium magical herbs. Cultivated with the blessings of the Pegasus. I don't think I can complete that because I have no idea how to get chickpeas. Probably have to grow them in the garden, but I don't really come back to the monastery that much.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report.
Is it true that we'll be assaulting Fort Merceus next? That doesn't sound like the brightest idea. I've heard that it's built to withstand an attack from even the largest of armies. And not to tell you how to do your job, but don't do it. I'm not ready to say my final goodbyes to everyone.
You're a national treasure.
Professor? You know, Professor, laying siege to a keep is like asking a girl out on a date. First, you get past her defenses, then you make your move.
That's not the best analogy.
Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a seasoned veteran at this kind of thing. Girls, I mean. I've never actually, you know, captured any keeps. Anyway, I figure you go after the main gate. You take that out, and I'm sure we can win. Of course, you're making the tactical calls. I'm happier to follow than to lead.
And there's Leon up here.
The Death Knight is guarding Fort Merceus. The same one who was linked to Monica and to Flame's abduction 5 years ago. Anyway, he's one of the monsters responsible for Captain Gerald's death. We have to defeat him.
We will.
That reminds me. The Alliance dissolved so suddenly. Now there's widespread pandemonium. The lords are warring, mass confusion among the citizens. Or, that's what I expected to happen. None of that seems to be taking place. They had a roundtable meeting and talked it out. Everyone's dealing very calmly with the situation. I guess if Dimitri turns out to be a crazed despot, then there really will be chaos. But he's not gonna go crazy again. He's okay now, right?
Yes, he's okay now.
I traveled to Kingdom territory because I was nearby. I did some good business. Apparently, supplies are needed to reconstruct the Kingdom capital and the surrounding towns. I wonder where I should go next.
I really need to have auto scroll off, because I keep forgetting that it's on. Fish, vulnerary.
With the Empire destroyed, the borders within Fodlan will likely become a thing of the past. With that, the rules of trade will change. Personally, I'm excited to see what these changes will bring.
The Alliance has really been disbanded? I never thought such a thing could happen. As long as it doesn't negatively impact our lives, I don't care much whether we're the Kingdom or the Alliance.
Excuse you. You were thinking?
Have you heard of the Crescent Moon War? That's when the Alliance won their independence from the Kingdom. Some 300 years ago, the ruling Duke of Leicester died without an heir. And the lords with blood ties to House Blathen took that chance to propose ruling the Leicester territory as a republic. The head of House Regan led the Leicester lords and fought fiercely with Farkas. They won independence from the Kingdom. And now, here we are.
And here we are.
Weren't the Kingdom and Alliance once part of the same country? If you think about it that way, it makes sense for them to unite. I suppose the Kingdom was once part of the Empire as well. Even if Fodlan came together, I wouldn't be surprised if it fell apart again.
Fort Merceus is next, huh? Ah, the memories. It's a huge stronghold in my father's domain. The town's completely surrounded by high walls. I used to run around there when I was a kid. Way back when a fortress was just a playground for me. Yeah, those were the days.
Is it true Lady Rhea was taken to the Empire? Why'd they take Lady Rhea? Professor, they didn't take her to kill her, did they?
I don't think so.
That's good. We just gotta beat the Imperial Army and get her back, right? You gotta help her, Professor. I'm begging you.
We will. We will. I don't want to say your name wrong.
We're finally going to attack the Empire? I'm actually getting a little nervous. Please defeat the Emperor and save Lady Rhea. I'll be waiting here with all of the necessary preparations for a huge celebration.
Hello.
Oh, Professor, good timing. You have to talk some sense into my father. Recently, he's been doing nothing but work himself to the bone. Even when he's taking breaks from training and errands, he's apparently listening to reports, day in and day out. He's getting on in years, you know? I just want him to take care of himself.
Yeah, he'll wind down after the war's over. Don't you worry.
I love a good fortress. The perfect place to hide. This one's impregnable too, isn't it? Perfect! As soon as we take it, I'll set up a special spot for Bernie.
If we can take it, it's not impregnable.
I guess you have a point. What would you call it then? A little pregnable?
Oh, never mind. Ignatz.
My family made it through the conflict unscathed. Thank the goddess. It seems that Deirdre was the only place to really get caught up in the fighting. Did Claude intend to spare the Alliance territories from harm? If so, he's a truly admirable leader. Speaking of Claude, I wonder where he is.
I wonder where Claude will go. From the sound of it, he's leaving Fodlan altogether. He was strangely gallant about the whole thing. Even left his relic behind. Elusive and mysterious to the end, isn't he?
Just as we suspected, Lady Rhea was taken to the Imperial capital. We must get to the capital as quickly as possible. So many people are worried sick about her. I do wonder when Claude managed to learn Lady Rhea's whereabouts. He's pretty shrewd. I can't help but admire him.
He's too smart for his own good.
We took quite the detour. It was time-consuming, but finally, we got the information we needed. We crush the Empire, we get Lady Rhea back. 2 birds, 1 stone. First, we take Fort Merceus. I'll put my heart in it. I'll crack him like a rusty helmet.
We defeated Lord Arundel. The Emperor must have been surprised. If we can keep up that fervor, perhaps we'll capture Fort Merceus and move on to the Imperial capital. We must not be overconfident, though.
Let's proceed with caution.
Yes, I concur. Humans and beasts are ultimately the same. When they're cornered, they lash out however they can. They fight for their lives. Who knows how the Emperor will lash out? We have to be careful.
True that. Okay, that's a good thing I put her in.
Fighting is what I do.
That was pretty interesting. Like 2 missed attacks.
Fighting is what I do.
Okay. I've probably said this before, but I wonder if in Classic, if they lose, do you lose that unit?
I'll never back down.
I'm pretty sure it was that way in the other games. Well, here's the final, so I'll just go ahead and heal.
I won't hold back.
The Archbishop has been taken to the Empire, just as we thought. But why hasn't Edelgard killed her yet? If she intended to use her as a hostage, she'd have publicly announced that she was unharmed. We don't know what the Emperor's intentions are. All we can do is fight on and pray the Archbishop is okay.
Doesn't matter how sturdy the keep. If the commander defending it is incompetent, it can fall as easy as anything. That's what they say, at least. I wonder if that applies to Fort Merceus. All I know is, if I was the Emperor, I'd never in a million years assign an incompetent commander to a fort as important as that one.
Are you saying the Death Knight is incompetent? I mean, they don't know it's the Death Knight.
I see. Death Knight. Going to fight the Death Knight.
You seem concerned.
To be perfectly honest, I am.
Makes sense. The Death Knight's her brother. If you didn't know that, now you know. Where is Alois? There you are.
I have a thought.
It needs to be gone.
So Lady Rhea was in the Empire all this time.
I need to stop making that joke.
Wish I'd known that 5 years ago. But there's nothing we can do about it now. What we can do, though, is topple the Empire. Will you seize victory with us, Professor? For the sake of the late Captain?
Yes, I will.
Fort Merceus is the Empire's single most fortified military installation. Utterly impregnable, they say. I wonder, do you happen to know the nickname given to Fort Merceus?
I think. Was it Fodlan's Locket?
That one is a fortress that stands at Fodlan's throat. Seems Fodlans give everyone and everything a nickname. Why, you were called the Ashen Demon. Myself, I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a nickname as well as a title, I suppose.
I had a feeling it wasn't that, but, I mean, it's honestly the only one that I thought of. The only one that came to mind that I was familiar with. But basically, I knew it was wrong.
Each step closer to Enbarr, I'm reminded of another part of my past. Riches and poverty, glory and failure. That city has it all. And if I'm honest, sometimes I miss it. That's how the past works, though, isn't it? It's always a different story than what you really lived.
Fort Merceus is a keep that was constructed to defend the Imperial capital, Enbarr. We cannot enter the capital without first capturing that fort. But once we have it, the city should be almost entirely at our mercy. Now that we know Rhea is there, we must move with the utmost urgency.
The Death Knight. I shudder to think of him. Professor, you remember my connection to him, do you not?
Of course.
I am still working through the trauma from back then. All these years later. If we meet him, I swear I will have my revenge.
We'll see.
From this point onward, we're in all-out war with the Empire. Are you prepared, Professor?
Are you?
I have already steeled myself as best I can. First, we capture Fort Merceus. The fighting will undoubtedly be brutal, but we must prevail. As far as this army and I are concerned, you're our last ray of hope. We are relying on you.
If you rely too much on me, you guys are gonna lose.
Claude has stepped down from leadership, and Leicester is now a vassal state of Fargus. The lords of the Western Kingdom are beginning to declare fealty to us in greater numbers also. The Empire is our only remaining enemy.
Look how tall the dew is. Dude, that's the camera angle you use.
The Leicester Alliance is no more. 300 years of history, gone and done. They write operas about events like this, you know? Dimitri will be played by the most handsome actor of the time. Hearts will pound as he takes the stage. What am I saying? Surely the most handsome man would play you.
Yeah, so the rest of this stuff I'm gonna pretty much do off screen. Basically the rest of this monastery stuff. And then we'll see if we can get some supports, because I didn't earn any from that last battle. And then we'll get to the main battle of Chapter 20. So until next time, I'll be seeing ya.